where we're asking people if they, how they were actually coping in terms of were they having access to food. And then about 2/5 indicated that they were not able to purchase their own food, which is actually quite worrying. And even though a majority said they actually had access to food through their families. And then we looked at, in the past 30 days, sort of their food situation. And about 10% saying they were getting food donations and food parcels. And this was really asking those who had fought food insecurity. As you can see, the sample size now changes to about 2,600. So from the 13,000. So these were the people who had indicated that the challenges in terms of accessing food during the lockdown. So when you ask them further in terms of how serious the situation was, and then you look at on financial donations, about 10% relied on financial donations, and others 10% again on food parcels, and about 14.8% reporting that they do not always have food and go hungry on some days. And then there's a worrying proportion of 12.6% who spent the whole day without eating sometimes. And another 16% saying sometimes they spent the whole day without having anything to eat. So food security really came out as one of the issues that needed attention. And as we go forward and the lockdown in its various stages, food security amongst young people is a critical area. And we asked people what was their main challenges, and the biggest challenge was the loss of study time, and followed secondly by not enough money for essentials in terms of personal items, and 42% saying loss of social contact with family and friends was one of their challenges, and 40% being not enough money for food as the fourth challenge amongst the young people. And we then looked at the issue of access to the internet, because this was really the key thing that everybody needed to work remotely. You had to have access to the internet. And 42.7% reported that their institutions were providing them with data bundles. So which means more than half were not getting any data bundles from their institutions. And I'm sure those were some of the things that may have changed over time. And almost a third saying that they were buying prepaid data using their own money. Over 65% of students experience mild to severe psychological distress, which is quite high and a bit worrying, because normally you don't want any psychological distress to function properly.